Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Shane and I'm a commercial and wedding photographer here in Germany. Now in this video we're going to be talking about how we can describe our style to pro image editors. Now, if you're not quite sure what your style is, which is a question we get often asked, is what is my style or how do I find it, is to take a really good long hard thought about what it is about the photos you are doing that you really like. Do you notice that your favorite images are the ones that are brighter and clearer, or perhaps the darker and moody ones? You know, style takes time to develop, of course, but once you have an idea, this is where the fun begins, because this is where you develop it, right? Now, also, the style is not only behind the computer. It's not only in the editing or the fancy effects that you put there. Most of it is actually the way you shoot the image. So once you have a certain way of seeing the world and you're capturing these couples in the most beautiful way that is signatory to you, then you can go in and finalize it with the edits. And this is exactly where pro image editors come in. They take that workload off. So let's have a look at how one would describe their style. Okay, but first let's have a look in Lightroom here, what one would typically do. So we have this image here of these bridesmaids getting ready, okay, and already the image is a little bit underexposed for my taste, so I would brighten it up a little bit, okay. Now I know I never push the contrast too far, it's just not my taste, okay, at least I never liked it when it was too super contrasty, but a little bit is okay. So a little bit there. Same with the highlights. I will drop them down a little bit, and the shadows, just to kind of bring in some manual contrast. Okay. Now, I know that I like to have my whites almost to the point of being super white, but not blowing out. And now there's a handy little trick that you can do. If you hold down the Alt key and you drag the white slider, everything that you can start seeing that is becoming visible is blowing out, which means there won't be any data there. So I normally push it just until I see a little bit popping through and let go. It's just a handy little tip for you the next time you're editing. Okay. Now, moving on down, I know that I like to keep the skin tones of my brides and groom and everything nice and brightish as well. So I will come down to the color area, and I will make the oranges a little bit brighter and the reds as well. Okay? Of course, this is very dependent on how you want to produce your images in the end, but it's good to keep notes of these little changes, right? Okay, coming down to the sharpening, we'll do that at the very end once we're ready to export. Now, I personally always use the enable profile correction, which just removes a bit of distorting on the images caused by the lenses. Okay, moving on down, if you're the type of person who would like to have some grain in the image as well, you by all means go ahead, and perhaps it's even wise to keep note of how heavy you are going to be using this grain. Okay, so if you really want it grainy at 89 or so, keep note of it, because you'll tell this to pro image editors that you really like strong grain. But in this case, I will keep it very low. Now, once you have this, and now you're quite happy with this set of images, and you really want the rest of the images to come out like this, and you can relate to this. This is becoming your style. So there's 5 ways that we can communicate this to pro image editors, right? The one of them being is you can call them. You can call them and speak to your account manager and tell them exactly how you want your style, right? Another way is to write to them, and during the order process, which we'll get to in a bit, you can be as descriptive as you need to be to cover everything from the settings you use to how much grain you want to how little contrast you want. All of this becomes very useful to them. It's not normally enough to say, my pictures are light or my pictures are dark and moody. You know, the more technical or the deeper you can get into it, the better it is. Okay? Now, the next thing that they will do is they will even look at your website. Right? They have a team of experts who can analyze your website and look at the style that you already have. they can take that and then build up a sheet which they can use to compare the images and obviously to get the job done right for you. Okay, the next one is you can also do sort of reference images. So you could send them a wedding and you could edit a couple of the images already. Let's say you edit 2 or 3 from the getting ready, a few from the ceremony, and a few from the reception, few from the party. That way they will know that, okay, your style is like this and this and this and this. And this really helps. It probably takes you about an hour to do in the end. And another one that you could do is also send them a full wedding that you've already done, that you've edited yourself from point 1 to point 2, the whole thing. Send them across the whole wedding and they will have a better idea of what you're after. Okay? And the last and final point there would be that when you're doing the order, you can ask them for those 10 free images that you need to approve before the process starts. This part is where you can discuss with them and tell them, hey, I need this image to be a bit like this. I want this one to be a bit more like so. And once you keep doing this and you've built up this repertoire with ProImageEditors, they have everything on record. So the next order is going to be even faster and even more streamlined. Okay? It's like building a relationship with them. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You see how easy it is to describe your style to ProImageEditors. It really does make it worth it to get all the information across to ProImageEditors and make sure that everyone is on the same page. So until then, we'll see you in the next video.